Hi everyone, my name is Kayla Turner and I am going to be one of the instructors for the dual enrollment general psychology course. I am working alongside Dr. Molly Anderson, who is another instructor for the dual enrollment courses. And we just wanted to give you a brief introduction to the course. I'm going to give you a brief introduction to myself. I'm going to go over Canvas with you a little bit, go over our syllabus a little bit, just give you some general information before we get started for this semester. We will be going at a really fast pace, but we are going to provide you with as many supports as we possibly can to make sure that you are successful in this class. This might be a little long. I highly encourage that you watch all of it because I'm going to be going over really any information that's going to be pertinent to you to get started. And then, of course, you're going to see where you can email myself or Dr. Molly Anderson, depending on who your instructor is, if you have any questions following this video. But first, again, my name is Kayla Turner. A little bit about me. I went to the University of Memphis for psychology. That's what I got my bachelor's degree in. During that time, I was heavily involved in research. My research background is in human sexuality, sex and sexual health, and sexual risk reduction. I also did a lot of research in the scholarship of teaching and learning. So I'm really invested in how to make learning opportunities and classrooms really engaging and how to make students more successful. So I've done a lot of research in those areas, and during that time I was also teaching quite a bit. I started with the general psychology course as a learning assistant, then moved on to a teaching assistant. I was a course manager. These were for the large auditorium classes, teaching general psychology. It's a class that I love. I really enjoy engaging with students in this content. And I really hope that you're going to enjoy it and find a nugget of information about psychology that you can take with you to really apply to your own life. Also, a little more about me. I am I was a teacher for Teach for America, so I worked with second grade students as a reading interventionist. And then after leaving that position, I now currently work as a market researcher. I actually work for Lego doing a brand tracking project for them. So if you're ever interested in not only teaching, but what it looks like to change career paths and change sort of what you thought your trajectory was going to be, I'm a great person to talk to. I've made a lot of pivots in my academic and my professional career. So I think I've learned a few things along the way. Um, that's just a little bit about me. You're gonna hopefully be learning more about me as we go through this semester, and hopefully I'm gonna be learning a lot more about you too. So we're gonna go ahead and dive right into what's some things that you need to know as we get started this semester. Share my screen. Okay, so this is gonna be sort of the home page of where you're gonna access things. I know some of you most of you are dual enrollment students, so this might be your first time interacting with the college course, interacting with sort of a university's platform. So this is where you're going to go to access our course. You're going to log into mymemphis.edu. You're going to use your username and student ID, your username, which is that first part of your email, and your password, which you're going to create to log into MyMemphis or myufm.memphis.edu. Through there, you're going to have a couple different tabs. And if you're ever having questions about these other tabs, feel free to email me. But for this course, you mainly need to go to this tab right here, U of M Online. And underneath here, you're going to see Canvas. That is our learning platform. That's where all of our course materials are going to be held. So you're going to click on this right here, and it will take you, once it loads, to memphis.instructor.com. So this link is also going to be posted in our syllabus a couple different times, so you'll be able to see where it is. If you don't want to go through Memphis, you can click on that link and it will still allow you to log in the same way, and it'll just take you directly to your dashboard. So this is going to look a little different than yours. I'm sure you don't have a billion different classes, but you are going to see any courses that you're registered for in here. For this class, you are going to be looking for Psych 1030, and you're either going to see the three little things after it is either going to be DO9 or DA9. Whichever one of these is the one you're looking for, and that's going to be our class. So we're going to go into DO9. And just to show you how it's set up on the side, it looks a little different because this is an instructor view. I'll switch over to a student view in a second so you can see exactly what it looks like. But on the side, you're going to have these tabs. When you first log in, it's going to take you to the homepage, and this is super important. It's just a general intro, and then it gives you the steps on what you need to first be doing when you log in, right? So you're going to visit our modules page. I'm going to show you that in a second. And you're going to collapse all. And I suggest doing that because there's a lot of information. Right now, I only have week 1 posted to make it just a little bit easier to find everything. But as we keep going, I'm going to start unlocking all of our modules. So if you wanted to, you could look ahead. And once all of those start unlocking, it's going to get really congested. There's a lot of information, a lot of links. So I do suggest to collapse all. So you can select which one you specifically want to look at. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. You are going to find the week that we're in, right? So week 1 is this week. It's today, the 22nd through the 26th module. You're only going to really need to look at what's under that particular module, right? So you're looking for the week. And then hopefully, if you're seeing this video, you've already kind of gone through these steps and you are watching the instructor introduction. After this, you're going to really need to download the course syllabus and the course calendar. Those are our master documents. They are very long, but they're very thorough. And they are going to tell you exactly what needs to be done on what days for the entire semester. We spend a lot of time working on those documents. They are very thorough. And if you ever have a question about when something's due, when we're going over a specific chapter or certain content, you're going to find it there. And if you ask me questions, if there's something that's very directly in the syllabus or directly in the course calendar, that's where I'm going to direct you. So try to look there first, right? But I would suggest downloading these and then, if possible, trying to print at least the course calendar and keeping it by you when you're working on this class. Keeping track of those, however you keep track of your dates, putting those somewhere where you're going to be able to remember them. And then I believe for our dual enrollment students, I believe you should already have gotten access to the book and the Macmillan Achieve tools. I'm going to go over what those are in just a little bit, but just making sure that you have those. We're not going to be starting Achieve until next week, which is going to be the week of, just one second, the week of the 29th. So if you don't have it just yet, that's fine. Just try to make sure you get it before the start of next week. Okay, so that's our first announcement. This is always going to be here. Then we go to our announcements page. So I'm going to really try to, especially in the first couple of weeks, post reminders, give you a breakdown of what's happening during the week, just to really give you some supports as we go through. That might not continue throughout the semester. I know y'all are college or high school students, so I'm trying to give a lot of structure, as is Dr. Anderson. But I also want you to really learn the skills to be able to be a successful college student. And not all professors are going to give you this kind of structure. So at the beginning, I will try to give a lot of reminders and announcements. You'll find those here. But as we go through the semester, you will see those less frequently. And that first announcement that was here, you will see here. This is where you're going to find the bulk of information. And then this right here is where, oh, it's loading. Yeah, because everything's open. It's just scrolling all the way down the page. This is where you're going to find that collapse all button. Just go ahead and press that, because like I said, it's a lot of information to look at all at once. Yours is going to look a little different because like I said, I've hidden a lot of this. But for right now, you're going to see these first 4 modules. I would absolutely suggest reading through Achieve Macmillan. There's going to be a separate video talking about how to set that up. So I will go over that later, but this is our sort of participation tool. It's how we can like track how you're doing with course content. And it gives you a lot of opportunities to study and work through problems on your own. It's very active learning, right? So it's not just reading textbook, it's like answering questions, going through practice quizzes, lots of things. Very useful information. Then we have some extra credit opportunities. I'm going to go through sort of our extra credit policy when I go through our syllabus, but you have a lot of extra credit opportunities. You have these videos that you can go through and write video reflections on how they relate to our course content. You have these journal articles that you can read through and write a brief like synopsis, sort of similar to an assignment that I will be talking about in just a little bit that we're going to be going through. So those are extra credit opportunities. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. This is the bulk of what you're going to be seeing this week. We do have some orientation and intro things to do on Achieve, but like I said, we won't really be starting until next week. So if you can get this done this week, that would be great. If not, if you're having trouble accessing or you're having trouble setting up your account or you don't have the Achieve login yet, that's fine. I can extend this to next week. But next week we have to have it. We have to get started. So those are posted. And if you have the ability, please try to complete this by Friday. We have these 4 documents right here. The first one is your course syllabus. It's very long. I know it's very long. Has a lot of really good information. I'm going to kind of go through it with you. The course calendar, again, I'm going to go through it. Please have this document downloaded and have it with you so you know what's due in a week. We're going to talk about introductions, but you do have an introduction due this week. I'm going to talk about the deadlines for those. It's all on a discussion board. And then you do have a syllabus quiz because we spend a lot of time making that syllabus very thorough. We want to make sure you have read it. So you do have quiz that you have to complete. And if this is not done, I'm not going to grade your other work. So you have to complete this, and it has to be really 100 before I start grading anything. It's only 10 questions. You can get through it really easy. You can have your syllabus beside you looking for the answers. But this has to be done this week. So I know you've read the syllabus, you know what you're sort of involved with, and we can all get started on the same page. So let me really quick switch over to student view so you can see exactly what it's going to look like for you. And I'm going to move my head. There we go. I'm going to collapse all. And like I said, I have those other modules hidden. So you're only going to see these 4. Let's go ahead and go into week 1. And we're going to go to the course syllabus. This is also where the introduction video is going to be. I have it hidden right now because I'm recording. But once this is done, it will be uploaded. It will be in that same folder. So this is our syllabus. You can download, I think, let's see. I think if you, click right here, you'll be able to download the syllabus to your computer, or you can read it on Canvas. So there's a lot of information. I'm going to breeze over some parts because I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. But again, I do suggest you read all of it because that is very important information. So if you were one of Dr. Anderson's students, this is her information. This is her Zoom office ID. We're going to suggest that you schedule appointments for any office hours. Right here, please schedule to ensure that you have personal time dedicated to answer any of your questions. I know that y'all will be mostly working on this class during traditional class time, whether it's like a study hall or what have you. So if you want to set up a meeting with one of us during that time, that's fine. And if that doesn't work, you can also set up meetings later in the afternoon, earlier in the morning. Just depends on your schedule. And then for Dr. Anderson, what her availability is. Mine's going to be a little more stringent because I do work full time. So I have availability early in the mornings and then later in the afternoons. But if you really need to meet with me during the class time, just let me know and give me a few days to sort of work it into my schedule. So this first part is just our Welcome to Psych 1030, giving you a brief overview of kind of what you signed up for. It's 3 months of material and we go through it very quickly. The interesting thing about general psychology is it's a new subject every week. Every week is not the same thing. One week we'll be talking about memory. One week we'll be talking about human sexuality. Another week we'll be talking about the brain and how it impacts your behavior. So it's all new content continuously, and we go through it very quickly. So I suggest, and it's kind of expected, that you spend at least 6 to 9 hours every week working on this class, including the time that you spend watching the lecture videos. And honestly, maybe watching them multiple times, really going through the handouts that we give you, really studying so you can grasp the material at the pace we're going at. Now, while we are going quickly, that does not mean we don't have time to answer questions. So if you are stuck on something or if you're struggling with the concept, please reach out so we can help you through that so you don't get behind. This is just the material required. That's our textbook and also our Achieve access things. You should, for dual enrollment, you should already have access to all of those. These are course objectives. If you want to see how our class directly addresses the goals for APA guidelines for undergraduate majors, you can see those here, and how each chapter connects to a goal that's covered. This is an online course, so while we try to provide as many supports as possible, it's going to take a lot of discipline from you to make sure that you are really on top of the class. So it's expected that you're checking our course calendar, you're checking your emails, and you're participating. And I'm going to go into the course breakdown, the participation points, but we do have participation points, and you'll see when I go over a grade calculation that those participation points can bring you from a C to a B to an A. They can bring you up from a failing grade. It's very important. So how do you get participation points in an online class? Well, you receive 12 points for each chapter. And if we go up here, we see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chapters, right? So 12 points for each one of those chapters. You get those by watching the lecture video by the deadline. So I can see if you have watched a video or not. And I check that every Friday. So if you have not watched it by the deadline, which is the Friday of the week that we start that chapter, you will lose 4 points. If you watch it before the deadline, you'll get those points. Really easy. Just watch the content. I can also see how long you've spent on the tab. So if I see you opened it, but you only spent a minute on the lecture video link, I'll know that you have not watched the video, right? So please just take the time, watch the video. I'll try to make sure there are ways where it's sped up, or you can speed it up if you want to listen to it quickly. I know I like to do that. I do talk very quickly, so that might not be helpful, but it might be helpful for Dr. Anderson's videos, or if I'm speaking really slowly in one of mine. So I'll try to have ways where you can listen to it faster, but you are expected to watch all the content. The other 4 points you can get are by posting to the discussion board. Every chapter has a discussion board post. Those are due on Wednesdays. And again, I'll go through the course calendar where you'll see what those deadlines are. We don't have discussion board posts during exam weeks. So you'll see what those are, but it's expected that you post on Wednesdays and you respond to at least one classmate, and that's due by Fridays. So beginning of the week, watch the chapter. Middle of the week, post to the discussion board. End of the week, excuse me. End of the week, respond to someone's discussion. And we are creating a learning community, right? We are all learners in this experience, and we expect everyone to be professional and respectful. I read everything that is on the discussion board, as does Dr. Anderson. So if there's something that is disrespectful, is unkind, is rude, I'm going to be taking it down. You're going to be losing your points for that chapter, but that part, there's 4 points. And we're going to be having a discussion about what professionalism and respect looks like in an academic setting and in any setting. I have very high expectations for how we interact together in this classroom, and disrespect, rudeness, intolerance will not fly, will not be tolerated. We're going to make that expectation on the front end, so we all know where we need to be operating from. So I encourage questions, I encourage discourse, right? Have conversations. You know, you don't have to agree with people, but you do need to be respectful. So that's 12% of your grade, and that's where I was discussing that this can make or break you being able to jump a letter grade or being brought down a letter grade, right? It's over 10%. So it can bring you from an A or from a B to an A, or it can drop you from a B to a C if you're not participating. Then we have the achieve activities. So for each chapter, you're going to have achieve activities to do, which I'm going to show you how to get to. These are all required. Some of these are just learning tools, but Achieve has videos, flashcards, learning curve, which is what you're going to be using, critical thinking exercises, and quizzes, right? For every chapter, you are assigned 2 activities in Achieve to help you gain mastery to the course. You're going to be assigned a learning curve exercise, which is 120 points total, and you're going to be assigned a chapter quiz. So, like I said, they have videos, flashcards, critical thinking exercises. Those aren't required, highly encouraged. They will help you study. You have to do the learning curve exercises and the chapter quizzes, and all of those will be linked through the modules in the class. So the learning curve exercises are worth 120 points. Chapter quizzes are worth 45 points. And achieve activities are worth 16% of your grade. So it is a lot, but we have seen that when students really actively engage in these learning tools, that they do significantly better in the class. And the really interesting thing about the learning curves is that it adapts to you, right? So if you are struggling with specific concepts in in whatever chapter we're going through. It'll modify the questions to really support you in trying to learn those concepts, and we'll skip over what you already know. Right? And if you're doing really well on a chapter, and you go through, if you're going through those quickly and getting all the questions correct, you'll be done really quick. So it's adaptive learning is what it's called. Super, super interesting. Okay, our next part are exams. We do have exams in this class. They're worth 43% of your grade. There are 3 mandatory 50-minute unit exams. They're worth 150 points each. And it's broken down into like cover 1/3 of the class. And I'll show you in a breakdown what chapters are going to be on what test. These are mandatory. You do have to take them, in addition to a mandatory cumulative final, right? And the cumulative final, like it says in the title, is cumulative. It has everything in it. This exam can be used to replace your lowest exam grade. So only 3 exams will be counted against you or counted for you, right? So if say you made a 110 on one exam, 125 on another, a 50 on your third one, and then for the cumulative you made 105. That 50 is going to drop, and that 105 is going to replace it. So your lowest exam grade will be dropped, whether that's your cumulative or whether that's one of your other tests. So this is a time test. It's 55 minutes, meaning, you are taking these exams on your own, right? On your own time, on your own devices. They're open for a week, so they're not open for just one day. You can take it Monday through Friday, during the exam week, and you could take it anytime. I expect you'll generally be working on this during your study hall. And if you want to work on it at home, you have the ability to do so, right? But it's only 55 minutes. It does not give you time to sit there with your textbook and find the answers. You really have to know the content to be able to pass these exams. So I really suggest taking your time. You don't have to take it on Monday just because it's open. You can wait until, say, Wednesday or Thursday and study, right, before you take it. Make sure you're really comfortable with the content, because you're not going to be able to look up the answers and finish in the time. So the exams are open Monday through Friday. They're due at 11:59 on Friday evening, Friday night. We also have written exams, or not written exams, excuse me. We have written assignments. These are worth 29% of your grade. And there are 3 of them. First, we have the Becoming a Consumer of Psychological Science. This assignment is worth 50 points. For this one, we're going to be going through parts of a journal article. We're going to read a journal article together. And there's questions that you have to answer about the journal article. And I'm going to show you where to find the answers. But it's really just teaching you how to be a critical consumer of psychological science. It does not come naturally to read a journal article, but it's a necessary skill that we want to ensure that you have before you leave this class. Whether you're trying to read a medical journal, whether you're trying to read a sociological or psychological journal, being able to consume that content is super important. So we're going to have this assignment. It's worth 50 points. This one is not, it's not paper format. It's just answering questions. There's like a sentence minimum that you do need to meet. And you just need to make sure you're following the rubric. All of our written assignments have example papers that you can follow. They have rubrics. They have videos that you can watch on how to do the assignment. So that's going to be worth 50 points. The next one is a behavior modification plan, and this has 2 parts. So we have part one, it's worth 50 points. It's where you're drafting your plan. And for behavior modification, you were going to be picking a behavior, something that you do that you want to change, whether it's you want to increase or decrease this behavior, and you're going to be using operant conditioning to change it. We're going to go into all of that later when that assignment comes up. It's one of my favorites. It takes some time because you're going to be actively trying to change one of your behaviors. Part one is you're not doing anything, you're just writing out your plan. I'm going to review those and approve or deny your idea, right? Because we don't want to make sure no one is doing anything that's harmful. Um, and then for the final behavior mod, which is worth 100 points, you're going to combine what you have for your first one, and then you're going to add on your data collection process, what went well, what didn't go well, if you were successful, and you being able to do the assignment successfully does not mean you were able to change the behavior. If you didn't change your behavior, that's fine. Tell us why you think it didn't change, and you'll still be able to make a really good grade on that assignment. So I want to ensure that you know, just because you don't change a behavior or it doesn't work doesn't mean you didn't pass the assignment. We want you to just go through the process. And then our final written assignment is the psych disorders. It's one of my favorites. You get to pick a character from a book, a movie, TV show, and you get to use the DSM to identify what psychological disorder you think they have. We've had some really interesting papers come out of this assignment. People have done, I think, like narcissistic personality disorder from Mean Girls. They've done schizophrenia from movies like A Beautiful Mind. They've done autism from it shows like The Good Doctor. So you get to watch your favorite content. This is toward the end of the semester. So it's like an easy, I get to watch TV or a movie for my class, and then write a brief paper on it. So those are three, but you're going to be submitting four. Remember that you're going to be submitting 4 parts, 4 papers, but it's for 3 assignments. All of your assignments need to be uploaded on Microsoft Word. You are offered Word for free through the University of Memphis, and I will post a video on how to download and set that up on your device. But they need to be uploaded using Microsoft Word. If you upload them in a PDF, I'm going to ask you to resubmit it. There are deadlines for our papers, right? So there we go, deadlines. You'll see that, of course, calendar. If for some reason you have to submit it a day or 2 late, that's fine. You can submit it late, but it's going to be 10% off of your assignment. So if you made an 88, I'm taking 10% off the next day, and then 10% off the next day until you get to a 0, and then it's just a 0. This is unless you have something that is outside of your control, and you communicated with me, right? You sent me an email if it's not letting you submit, or your Wi-Fi went out, or you had a death in the family, or you're sick, right? I'm pretty forgiving with deadlines as long as you're communicating with me and just letting me know what's up. I understand that life happens, and I don't want this class to be a burden, right? I do expect participation, and I expect professionalism, because this is a college course, and I understand that things happen, and we can work together to make sure you are as successful as you can be. Extra credit opportunities. So we offer a maximum of 25 extra credit points. You can do this by completing these extra credit chapter exercises that you'll find in the modules, or you can watch those extra credit videos and write a reflection paper. it's like a 2-paragraph reflection on how it ties to what we've learned in class, and you use some of the psychological terms, right? So if we are in a brain and behavior chapter and you watch a video on aphasia, which is like one of the aphasias, sorry, one second. Broca's aphasia, where you can't produce coherent speech. You just write a reflection talking about Broca's aphasia and get those extra credit points, but it caps at 25. They're really interesting videos. I enjoy watching them just to learn. But I really suggest taking advantage of this because whereas participation can bring you up a letter grade or bring you down, extra credit can only bring you up, right? So if you make a B, this can bump you to an A, right? I think it's in total worth like 2.5% on what could be your total grade. So it's worth taking advantage of. Not many college classes offer this much extra credit, so take advantage of it if you have it. These are just a grading breakdown. We want you to be able to calculate and understand where you are in the class at any point. So you can go here in our syllabus to see what total points you could have, right? So participation, there's 120. Achieve learning curves is 120. Quizzes are 45. Your exams, remember it's only 3 exams worth that are counted. Your lowest one is dropped. Those are worth 150 points each. Your written assignments are worth 300 points, and the total points that you can get for the course, not including extra credit, is 1,035, right? And this is our grading scale. So it's around like it's like a every 10 points, right? So 60 to 69 is a D, 70 to 79 is a C, 80 to 89 is a B, 90 to 96 is an A, and I don't do pluses and minuses unless it's an A. And as does Dr. Anderson, if you have an A plus, that's the only grade you're going to get a plus in this class, and you have to get above a 96%. So it's possible, and that's where the extra credit can come in, because it can bump you from a 95 to 96, from 95, 96 up to that 97 and above point. So if you're really striving to get an A plus, be trying to make that 97% or having over 999 points. If you're interested in calculating your grade, this is the formula you're going to use. It tells you exactly where to plunk in your points. And this is really good at estimating. Like if you're midway through and you have an idea of how you've been doing in the class so far, you can estimate what you think your final grade would be. And if you ever want to have a meeting about the calculating grades and you want to talk through it, set up a meeting with me. Dr. Anderson, I'm sure, would also be happy to walk you through that. You're expected to be checking your email every day, and you're expected to be checking Canvas. We're going to be communicating quite a bit through those announcements pages. So just making sure you're checking everything. Let's see. For this class in particular, right, psychology, we come across some content that can be triggering to some people, right? So we want to make sure that you are as supported as possible. We have a lot of resources connected to the university that can help you if you are experiencing any sort of hardship, right? As just because we are teaching psychology does not mean we are licensed to counsel. We cannot counsel for personal problems such as depression, breakups, family troubles. So we would direct you to our counseling center. which their phone number, their after hours phone number, and their link to their websites right here. We would also direct you to our psychological services center, which is run out of the psychology building. That's their phone number and their URL. We also have our National Crisis Hotline phone number posted, as well as our Student Health Center with their phone number and their link as well. To let you know, we are mandatory reporters, myself and Dr. Anderson, according to the university's Title IX policy. And what that means is if we become aware of or have a suspicion of or are told that an incident of sexual misconduct is happening, whether that's harassment, assault, dating violence, domestic violence, stalking, we have to report it to the university, specifically the Office of Institutional Equity. So while we are always here, if you want to talk and need some access to resources, we do want to let you know that we are mandatory reporters, and that means we have to report any incidences of sexual misconduct or violence that we hear happening to students. The Office of Institutional Equity is a great place to find support and resources that can help you if you want to, if something like this happens to you and you want to make a report or start an investigation. They are great. I worked with myself, and Dr. Anderson has worked with that office for a long time, and they're always super kind and super helpful. This is their building and room number at the university, as well as their phone number. If you want to make a report, if you don't necessarily want to come to myself or Dr. Anderson, but you want to make a report of something that's happened, you can fill that out here to the university. And then if you just want to take a look at the sexual misconduct policy for the University of Memphis, that is also listed here. We also have our diversity statement. Particularly in psychology, we want to put diversity, inclusion, and equity at the forefront of our classes, and we want it to be a conversation. So we aspire to foster and maintain that community and that atmosphere that's free of discrimination, harassment, exploitation, or intimidation. We want all students to be engaged and able to fully show up and participate without fear of being discriminated against based on their race, ethnicity, gender, disability, sexual orientation, or anything like that. And this is particularly important because things regarding all of those classes of people are talked about in psychology, as well as diversity within itself. So this is something we want to keep at the forefront of our class and at the forefront of our discussions. And if you are ever interested in learning more, we have links to the Office of Ethnic Minority Affairs, the Ethical Principles of Psychologists, and the Code of Conduct for Psychologists, because we do have a code of conduct that dictates how we should be engaging in these professional settings as teachers of psychology. And then we also have the publication manual for APA, which is American Psychological Association. We also highly, highly encourage that if you have any sort of disability that might interfere with you completing this coursework, this includes tests, course activities, assignments, being able to participate in class a certain way, right? Sitting down and watching the videos. Please reach out to us, and also reach out to Disability Resources for Students, DRS. They are super helpful and can be able to provide you accommodations you need to be successful in this class. And this can be anything from a physical disability that inhibits your participation. It could be something like anxiety, depression. It could be eyesight, right? You might need captions. You You might need specific notes, and we want to be able to provide you with those things. So if there's anything that you think you need an accommodation for, reach out to us and reach out to DRS to get you the support that you need. And additionally, right, if you have any other thing that happens, right, there's a death in the family, you contract COVID, you have a serious illness or something that maybe wasn't happening at the beginning of the semester is happening like in the middle, and you need some support, again, reach out to us and reach out to the Dean of Students to get support in those classes. I have email rules, as does Dr. Anderson. We ask that you always include your name in your email so we know who we're talking to, and that you include the course number in the subject line. So this is Psych 1030. So you can put Psych 1030, your name, so I know what class it is and who I'm speaking to. And we ask that you write these emails professionally. I understand that in high school, you might not be super familiar with emailing format, and that's fine, but we really just don't want these to be written as text messages. Emails are public documents that can be pulled at any time, especially ones from the university. So we really encourage you to be treating these as professional documents because they are, right? So do not write in text message format. Try to start your emails with a greeting, like good morning, hello, things like that. And then closing with the ending, such as like best your name. I will provide feedback if you send me an email that's written like a text message, like, hey, I'm gonna need you to rewrite this. And I'll give you a template on how to rewrite it. But we really want to try to instill professionalism and sort of some of the expectations that you might have, say you want to continue your collegiate career and your professional career. Being able to write a good email, super important. Let's see, we have a zero tolerance policy for cheating, whether that's an exam or a written assignment, you will get a 0, and we will be having a conversation. Academic integrity is super important to me, as well as Dr. Anderson. You will actually be taking a plagiarism test to be able to understand the different types of plagiarism, because there are many types, but your best bet is to not copy things directly, do not share your work with your friends, and write things in your own words. Now, that does not mean thesaurus dump every word on the page. Try to write things in your own style, in your own words. And if you have trouble, ask us. We do use a tool called Turnitin that can give us a plagiarism percentage score. So we can see not only if you plagiarize, but where exactly you pulled that information from. And it's not just public articles or paid papers that we can see that information from. We can also see if you pulled information from another student's work. If anything has been submitted through the University of Memphis, it is in Turnitin's database, and we can see that. These are links to our, again, our ethics, code of student rights and responsibilities, plagiarism, again, we use Turnitin, and if you want some more resources, you can look here. This is our schedule. So our Consumer Psychological Science assignment is due on Friday the 16th. Our first exam is September 19th through September 23rd. Behavior Mod Part 1, right? Remember that assignment's broken into 2 parts. Part 1 is due September 30th. Our final withdrawal date, so if you want to withdraw from the class, the last day to be able to do that without impacting your transcripts is October 14th. So October 14th, that's the last day to withdraw from class. Exam 2 is October 24th through 28th. Final behavior mod is due November 28th. Exam 3 is November 28th through December 2nd. Psychological disorders assignment is due December 7th, and our cumulative final is December 5th through December 8th. And then this is our sort of course outline. We have that first chapter, which is thinking critically with psychological science. Then we have our first assignment due. Then we have learning and memory, chapters 7 and 8. Then we have behavior mod part 1 due. And then we have our first exam covering chapters 1, 7, and 8. So it goes a little bit out of order, but that's because we want the content to sort of match. So 1, 7, and 8 first. Then we have chapter 2, 4, and 5, which is brain and behavior, or biology and behavior, developing through the lifespan, and sex, gender, and sexuality. Then we have exam 2 covering those chapters. Then we go into social psychology, which is chapter 12, assignment 3, behavior mod final, psych disorders, chapter 14, and therapy, chapter 15. Then we have assignment 4, which is psych disorders. And then we have exam 3 covering those last 3 chapters, and then our cumulative of final covering everything. And then finally, this is our request for feedback. So we are always looking for ways to improve our course, right? So as you're going through the course, as you're going through sort of our online format, if you see things that like any suggestions, any comments, constructive criticisms, right? How can we make the class better? What's going well? We would love to hear that. So throughout the course, we will ask for feedback. At the end of the course, especially, we'll ask how it's going. And if there's something that you think we could change in the middle, we could do that, right? That whether that be like changing due dates, modifying the schedule, right? Adding additional supports. We're more than happy to make changes as we go through. So that was our syllabus. I know that was a lot. It is a long document, but it's super important to be able to go through that. And I do, again, encourage that you go through and read it on your own and see if you have any questions. Then to quickly go through everything else, we have our course calendar right here. And I'm only going to go through our first part, but you can see we have our participation colored in gray, our quizzes and exams, our achieve assignments, our written assignments, and our holidays and breaks. So I have to update this. I'm not sure why that's blue. That should be green. That will be changed in today. But you have our week 1. Our topics, just introductions. We want to introduce you to the class. We want you to introduce yourselves to each other, work on those discussion posts. You will be, this week, you'll have your tasks right here. You'll be reviewing the syllabus, reviewing the semester calendar, watching this video, posting your own introduction to the discussion board, responding to one classmate's discussion post, and then you're going to take the syllabus quiz, which I'm going to show you that in just a second. You then have our due dates, right? So your first post is due on Wednesdays. Your post to another student is due on Fridays. You have to watch this the videos, whether they be the lecture videos or other videos, by Fridays. And so this week you'll have to watch this video by Friday. Your syllabus quiz is due on Friday as well. Friday's the big due date. A lot of things are going to be due on Fridays. And then again, I'm going to be changing these to green, but these are your achieve assignments that are due this week, the orientation assignment and the intro survey. So next week, when we dive into content, you'll see our topic is chapter 1. You'll be watching chapter 1 lecture video. You'll be watching parts of a journal article video. So there's 2 videos you have to watch. Chapter 1 might be in 2 parts. There might be 3 videos you have to watch. And then you have to do the chapter 1 achieve assignments and post your chapter 1 discussion board and respond to another classmate. So again, Wednesday, you're posting your first post. Friday, you're responding to another classmate's. You're watching chapter 1 lecture and parts of a journal article by Friday. And you are doing Chapter 1 Achieve assignments, which is your learning curve and your quizzes. Now, this is our schedule. This is our guide. This can change, right? If I'm getting a lot of feedback like, hey, we need a little more time to finish, say, an Achieve assignment, I can extend those through the weekend. I tried to make things due during the week because I know as high school students, that's when you're working on the class. And I don't know if you have access to a device at home. So I tried to make sure things were due during the week so you had your devices to be able to work on the class. But if I get feedback that, hey, we would like to work on this at home, or we would like to have the weekend to get things done, I'm more than flexible to move these deadlines around. So we're going to be communicating as a team to figure that out. So that's our calendar. Really suggest you download this. You have your first discussion, which is this introduction, and it's super easy. Really excited to have you in this class this semester. We want to know your name, the year you are in school, right? Whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. What are your plans after you graduate? What do you want to do? Do you want to work? Do you want to go to school or go to college? Do you want to take time to travel? Do you want to just like hang out for a little while? What's going on after you graduate? What's your favorite food? An interesting fact about you that not many people know. And so that's due by Wednesday. And you just have to respond to your classmates by Friday. And by responding, it's just like, for this one especially, hey, we are, the same year in school, or we both plan to go to the University of Memphis, or we both love chicken nuggets. That's my favorite food. All of these things. So super easy first introduction, first discussion post, and then next week I will post just a little blurb going about how the discussion posts are going to look going forward. And then you have your syllabus quiz. It's 10 points. There's unlimited amount of attempts. So you just keep going until you finish it. You click take the quiz, and there's 10 questions that you can find the answers to in the syllabus. And this is timed at 20 minutes. But again, you can just keep taking it until you finish it. So that's modules. Very, very quickly, discussions. They're mostly hidden, right? Because I haven't unlocked a lot of the modules, but you can find just discussion posts here. Assignments, again, they're hidden, but you'll find them in here. So, oh yeah, you can see all of these upcoming assignments and like the learning curves, the papers, all these things you'll find here. Your quizzes, you'll find here, which are exams for us. And then grades, you'll be able to see your own grades, right? So everything will be posted here. My goal is to have grades completed on the weekends, so I'll try to post grades and feedback on Mondays. And if there's, for some reason, I cannot get it done by that deadline, I will post something in eCourseWare just letting you know, hey, won't be having feedback done by Monday, it'll be done by Wednesday. But you'll be able to see your grades in here, and you'll be able to click into things like for consumer of psychological science, you can click into it. And when it's unlocked, you'll be able to see your grade and you'll be able to see feedback for that assignment. And then Macmillan Learning, it's an error because it's not uploaded yet, but you'll be able to log in here, but you'll also be able to go to those modules and click on these assignments. I'll link you directly to Macmillan. Okay, so I know that was a while. That was a lot of information. Watch this multiple times, right? Go through the syllabus, go through the course schedule, calendar. See if you have any questions. Reach out to us in email. You'll find whatever class you're in, you're either going to find my syllabus with my email, or you'll find Dr. Anderson's. We're really excited to get started with you this year or this semester. We hope you really enjoy psychology and find, again, something that you can use to apply to your own life. Like I said, this is a really fast-paced course. It's a lot of content, but we are going to get through it together. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to email us, and I look forward to reading your discussion posts. Bye now.